Man, is daylight savings time kicking my ass. Because there's light outside, I don't think it's that late. Then I look at the clock, it's almost 7 o'clock when I'm recording this. So apologies if it's a little late. But we have a TWAB because it is Thursday, but we also have a patch note that is relatively short and is kind of important, so I'm going to go through that first. So we have, of course, Hotfix 7.0.0.5, where basically, starting off, the animation changes made to the data collection boss encounter and the variable exotic mission that had potential to cause issues with photosensitivity players. There we go. Now, in the player journey, they increased the drop rate for exotic armor in Legend and Master Lost sectors when playing solo, which, question mark, don't you only get exotics when playing solo? Why include that detail? But then they also fixed an issue that prevented the Vex Incursion Countermeasures weekly bounty from resetting at rest. I'm assuming that was supposed to be reset. Fixed an issue where players on their alternate characters could not progress the Hall of Heroes intro quest after interacting with the statues early. Any player who ran into this issue may now progress normally. For the UI, they made adjustments to the return to orbit option and how it's triggered after completing a specific battleground. Previous implementation enabled mistakenly skipping of end of mission cinematics when returning to orbit from the commendation screen. Now, for gameplay investment, fixed an issue where some artifact mods were not properly proccing anti-barrier capabilities. Specifically for hunters, fixed volatile rounds on Falcons, so they now are anti-barrier properly. Armor scavenger mods, they fixed an issue where Jotun would get an unintentional boost in ammo, particularly in PvP, with the solar scavenger mod equipped on a player's chest armor. Put the toaster down. Then for weapons, they basically fixed a bunch of bugs that resulted in a lot of these things being disabled on day 1 raids. Specifically, Winter Bite, Exotic Glaive was doing more damage than intended. The bonus to Glaive melee damage granted by Syntheseps has been reduced against both combatants and enemy guardians, because I guess that was breaking things. Fixed an issue where the Lightfall version of the Inquisitor and the Mindbender's Ambition shotguns had incorrect magazine perks. And fixed an issue where Grand Overture's blinding effect could apply to other sources of splash damage. Now, I heard people saying those were nerfs. To me, that's just fixing things. So, meh. And then for abilities, for Strand, they increased the internal cooldown of the Threat of Ascent fragment from 2 seconds to 4 seconds, so you're not going to see as many of the rapid reload rocket dumps as you've been seeing. And then for Strand, they also fixed an issue where a player grappled to a thrown tangle, the Berserkers into the fray aspect would fail to activate on further tangle detonations. So now that is fixed. For Strand as well, they also fixed an issue where suspending detonation from the Broodweaver's Mind-Spun Invocation aspect was not properly stunning unstoppable champions. Then on to Solar as well, fixed an issue where the Radiant effect was not increasing the damage of Strand weapons, and back to Strand, fixed an issue where the Threat of Generation fragment would stop functioning after a Silk Strike super deactivation when either the Shackle or Threadling Grenade is equipped. Now for power and progression, they adjusted Guardian ranks a little bit. To closely match the goals of Guardian ranks, we have reduced the required accommodations of score to complete objectives across all Guardian ranks. And as well, rank 8 objectives require Tier 3 difficulty or higher, fix an issue where the Tier 4 or only higher applied to ranks progression. And for accommodations, players can no longer offer accommodations to other following a failed mission activity, so just failing dares over and over again will not let you get more stuff. Then as well, in terms of general, they fixed an issue where Guardians and their weapons was not rendering properly, so no one should be ghosts anymore. And the Twitch gift sub bounty reward now correctly applies now appears in the Cryptarch. Now, into the TWAB itself. So going off the start of the top, here is some things that happened. They also wanted to congratulate folks on the world's first raid. There was, of course, their winners. They have an interview here for them in case you want to see it. And we hope that players, more than 190,000 of you who beat the boss during contest are feeling good about it now. Now, they also have an Art of Lightfall developer insight in case you are curious, but they also wanted to mention the updates. Now, we mentioned the changes to accommodation. Now, here are the new requirements. To reach rank 7, you now only need 460 accommodation score. Across rank 8, you now only need 790. Rank 9, 1290. Rank 10, 1530. And rank 11, 1800. Now, I know they were testing the waters and weren't sure how well this was going to go, but Jesus Christ! I know it's the pinnacle seasonal thing where only the people who grind this game completely will be there, but 6,000 accommodation score? I'm on week 3 and I'm still not even at the rank 7 adjusted amount. Christ. That was high. Now, they'll also be adjusting something basically in the future, I don't know when, but so that people aren't stuck at rank 6 and needing a 1830 Guardian to grind out lost sectors, they're going to be moving that at a higher rank other than rank 6, but not just yet. They also want to congratulate people on the Excalibur mission and the Glaive. and a lot of other things. I won't say any spoilers myself. I will definitely recommend doing it in case you're a fan of old Destiny 1 destinations and characters. And as well, Excalibur is actually pretty dang good. I've been enjoying using it, and it's not even on its final form, so there's that. Then they also wanted to mention, like we saw before, Trials will be this week. I know a lot of people were weirded out or possibly, but basically, because of an issue in PvP that was not going to be resolved until Thursday, they moved Trials to this week and Iron Banner to next week just to make it so that there wasn't any big PvP issues coming around. And they also tell us about some of the more new stuff, basically. This is an important one. Now, read with me. Because Fireteam matchmaking is enabled in Trials as such, they have removed the Freelance node. They have been analyzing 3v3 data in the competitive division this season without Freelance in place, and they are confident that matchmaking will provide a solid experience, with more details coming soon. They also talk about the new guns that are available, specifically the Immortal, a new 750 round per minute strand legendary submachine gun. Then you also have the return of Astral Horizon, a kinetic aggressive frame shotgun with some of the best perks that it had before. And they also have the new reward system as well, so any engrams you earn will not be in your inventory. They will be at Saint to decode them once you go back and revisit them. The engrams from previous seasons can't be used in this new system and must be decrypted at Master Rahul. They also, like I said before, Iron Banner is returning next week as because of the thing. And we're going back to 3 Iron Banners a season starting this season. And they've also increased the reputation gains for winning matches starting in the final week of Iron Banner in Season 19. And they also adjusted something in that an emblem is now available at rank 16 to the first reset, so players can get to 50% more rep sooner. They also launched with new modes across the last season, but the new modes that are going to be this season will be rotating every week of Iron Banner. So specifically, this week will be old favorite of Iron Banner Control. Next week, or the next Iron Banner will be Iron Banner Eruption, and the last Iron Banner of the season will be Iron Banner Fortress. So in case you wanted to know that, there will be no Iron Banner Rift this season. So there you go. It's all killing, all captures. And then as well, they also talk about the returning Yorm's Claw and Bite of the Fox weapons, but not nearly as much detail as they did for Trials weapons. Then going into the player support. So contest mode emblems. I know there's obviously some people saying we did it, but we didn't get the emblem. They elaborate here that there are certain circumstances that would reduce them to not qualify for it. So basically, in case you haven't gotten it at this point, then there's a good chance that you did not do something to qualify. Whether it was a bad connection, dying to a wipe mechanic before they were able to kill him, like if a damage over time killed Nezarec after they died to a wipe mechanic or something like that, that could have possibly annoyed something as, you know, poor chapters, joining in progress, not receiving rewards from all encounters, or contributing to completion and eligibility. There are issues that would result in the contest mode emblems not exactly dropping. So, in case you don't have it, there is likely some problems there. And then as well, Twitch drop emblems, of course, there's issues there that you want to navigate to these places to adjust and, you know, set things. And as well, reset happens, or daylight savings time reset still happens at the same time, but things got moved ahead an hour. So, just an example, reset used to be at 12 noon for me on Easter. It is now at 1 p.m. Eastern. So, basically, whatever time reset happened, put it forward an hour and compensate for yourself. And now, here are some of the known issues going through. Some players are unable to lock the EDZ. The Preservation mission in the Throne World is not available for newer players. Some players are unable to unlock the Throne World. Wow, a lot of issues in terms of playing things. Returning veteran players do not have access to all weapon and ghost mods. Veteran players do not receive the correct amount of lore books when they rank up for the first time. Countdown and its variants are not added to the weekly Crucible challenge. Reservoir burst explosions with subsistence can sometimes fail to activate on kill. The Adept Trials hand cannon is getting 1 round less in the magazine than the non-Adept one. The grav lift on Neomuna is tied to frame rate, causing players with higher frame rates to die upon landing. The Mark All Is Seen button in collections is no longer functioning. The Dimensional Hypotoctroid grenade launcher can have a range masterwork, and hey, I said it right that time. Non-Lightfall quests show up under the Lightfall quest category. Hunters that die and have strand reapplied will lose their first strand aspect. Hunter gauntlets, specifically the Thunderhead grips, are missing an ornament for armor synthesis. Certain heavy weapon archetypes are not benefiting from the 3rd reserve mod. Players are no longer able to equip the Unbroken title. Restoration reverts to a lower timer when reapplying the original source of the buff. Weapons can mark targets through Titan barricades. Third generation stops functioning for something. We have already talked about this. Unpowered melee can produce fast melee combos in quick succession. Players experience a black screen when previewing armor bundles on PS5. Equipping a large amount of decaying armor charge stat mods to deactivate tier 4 and 5 artifact mods for the player. Equipping, some players on Steam are unable to progress past the class icon loading spin. Please send us your Didax, that. And combinations grayed out as already given in some activities. For the full list of issues, you can review the known issues article for the full list, and players who observe other issues will report them to the health forum in case they were not on this list. At that point, then we also got a bunch of drawings, art of the weeks, and just addressing this and the amount of Chadness. I still think of all the disciples we fought, Rolk is probably my favorite still. Obviously, Nezarec, I personally leveled more just because of the maniacal laughter and all that. But, you know, Callus was only a disciple once, and we killed him right after. Nezarec had been around for ages, and we revived him to kill him, so there's that. But Rolk was just there, and he said, come on, bring it. And plus, I gotta admit, of all the fights, I think I still loved Rolk the best. But aside from my personal biases, that is mostly everything with the arts and everything there. So that is the TWAB and the patch update with a lot of changes going out in terms of Destiny. And I gotta admit, there's a lot more issues that I thought there was gonna be, but they're still working on old stuff. So I think once Raid Race got passed and everything was there, they're kind of riding the wave and just fixing things as they come along, as opposed to everything's on fire, put it out now. On that note, my name is Matt Scorpion, and thank you for watching.